President Trump has been talking about drugs and the drug cartels driving drugs into America. He's trying to stop the fentanyl as well as the crime. Can you assess for us the current state of affairs in Mexico?
Mexico is paying a huge price for the activities of these cartel organizations. We are currently losing 80 to 100 people per day murdered by these cartel members. So that needs to stop. Now, having said that, I also have to say substance abuse is a huge problem worldwide. It's a problem in the U.S., in Mexico, in Europe. It's across the world. Stopping substance abuse is a different story. The violence that is catching up with us in Mexico, it's just impossible to continue like this. It needs to stop in a definite way.
So how does it stop then? I mean, I was told in many cases you've got the drug cartels in charge of running the country. So how do you stop these multi-billion-dollar businesses back and forth across the border?
Yeah, it's a terrible problem. And unfortunately for us in Mexico, it's not easy to solve, you know. This partnership of certain government officials with certain narco cartels has certainly gone way beyond any expectations. You know, Mexico has always had this reputation for corruption, but what's happening now is way beyond anything that happened before. So let me tell you one thing, for example. There's a huge organized crime ring that steals fuel from the Mexican oil company. And then they sell it for cash, and then they recycle the cash for political purposes. And it's huge. We've never seen something like this.
So it's all wrapped up in politics as well, Ricardo?
Yes, because vote buying and mobilizing people through cash disbursements is the modus operandi of the current regime.
And what about human trafficking? How significant would you say that is? And I know that there are safe houses in America as well.
I don't think that is the part of the business of organized crime. The organized crime that we're seeing is reselling stolen fuel, bringing fuel without paying taxes into the country, and, of course, drug smuggling into the U.S. That's where the big money is. In terms of human trafficking, I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's very few Mexicans that want to emigrate to the States right now. The immigration that we see, and a lot of people that are trying to get into the U.S. are mostly people from Venezuela and from Central America and Cuba, Haiti, which are these failed economies. And people need to find a way out of their miserable life, so they're willing to walk all the way through Mexico to try to get into the States. They don't have any money. So organized crime is not going to look for people who don't have any money.
Yeah. What is your assessment in terms of a trade deal, Ricardo, and what that should look like?
Maria, it is in the best interest of both countries to have a stable and prosperous Mexico. You don't want to have a garbage dump next door to your home. And the way to do this is to have a country with a rule of law where you have democracy, where you have voting, where you have separation of powers, where you have an independent judicial. And that will ensure investment in our country and job creation that stays in this country and doesn't walk out into the northern country.
And in terms of the policies out of the Claudia Sheinbaum administration, what do you want to say about them?
They're very disappointing, Maria, unfortunately. We're seeing a government that is bloated by bureaucracy. Immense amounts of money are being spent in a corrupt way with kickbacks all over the place. And we, as citizens, we get very little to nothing in exchange because our security is ridiculous. We have insecurity, rampant insecurity. Many people go out to work in the morning and don't know if they're going to come back alive and home. The education is a mess. And of course, the healthcare system is a disgrace. People are literally dying in the hallways of the hospitals because there's no medicines. So this is the kind of ineptitude that this regime has imposed on Mexicans.